We have the same vision, really. That's the thing. I mean, we've spent so much time together. That's our advantage. We spent so much time together, just like you guys, that we know each other so well. We know what our vision is, and we share the same vision. And so I think when things come up where maybe she creates something on her own that we haven't talked about, which could happen, I'm all for it. I'm with it because she has the same vision. We have the same ethics. We have the same integrity.
This is the Wealthy Contractor Podcast, brought to you by G4 Marketing. Interviews with today's top home improvement entrepreneurs about marketing, sales, money, mindset, and lifestyle. Now, here's your host, Brian Kaskavalsian.
All right, everybody, welcome to a very special episode of the Wealthy Contractor Podcast. This is our Valentine's Day edition. And next to me, I have my very own Valentine, Addie, my wife and business partner. And so what we're going to do is, this is an industry where many couples own and grow their businesses together. And of course, it's hard to achieve success, wealth, and freedom if you and your partner, both in business and in life, are not on the same page. So today on the podcast, you're going to hear some tips and strategies from couples who have been business partners for years, and how you can achieve success both in business and your relationship with your partner and or your spouse. So first up, we have Mario and Candy from City Roofing. Welcome, you guys.
Welcome.
Hey guys, good to be here.
And so tell us a little bit about, I think, Mario, you've never been on the podcast before, but Candy has.
What?
Yes, Candy has. She's
a star. I'm just in the background.
That's right. Well, look, I think those of us that can make this work recognize who the real boss is.
She is.
And, we just do what they tell us to do. So give us the 2-minute version of your story, or actually, if you want, you could give your version of the story, Candy, and Mario can give his version of the story, but just tell us about City Roofing, how it started, how you got into the business, and kind of where you guys are at now.
There's always more than two sides to each story. You're going to hear like 4 different versions here.
Okay. Well, somewhere in the middle will be the truth, right?
Well, I guess, how did City Roofing start? Well, I started my career working with another roofing contractor here locally. It was back in 2005. I found out about roofing through colleagues and people that I knew, and I decided to give it a shot. At that time, I had my general contracting license, which only meant that I had a little bit of experience working with some family in the construction field. So I didn't really like it too much. I didn't like being stuck in one place or one job all the time. So I said, let me give this a shot. So I went to go, and at that time, that was right after that busy hurricane season, Wilma and Katrina. And so obviously when I got in there, it was a crash course in roofing, and it happened rather quickly. I went to work for, this big roofing company at that time that I thought was pretty big. They had, wow, what can I imagine? Multiple cars, at least 100 employees. So I said, okay, this looks pretty good. So we got in there, and I started to work for them and selling jobs. And it wasn't long before my phone started. This is part of our company story, actually. This is as real as it gets. My phone was actually getting calls from both customers that were looking to get new roofs done, but also jobs that had already been done that were leaking from the company I was working for. And I didn't know where to stick my head. I didn't know what to do. I was like, man, this is bad. This is bad customer service. I brought it up to the attention to the owners. They didn't care. They were like, well, this is just how it works. We just go. And I was like, but what about the customers? No, we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, sure. Well, they kind of brushed it off, and it was kind of their MO. And I was like, well, this isn't how it's done. And so I obviously I would talk to Candy. She wasn't anywhere. She had nothing to do with roofing at the time. She was working as a mortgage processor underwriter for a mortgage company. And I would come home and I would tell her all these stories. And I was like, look, you know what? This isn't going to go anywhere. This company's going to go by the wayside. I mean, you don't run a business this way. So long story short, I said, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my license and we'll go off on our own. And at first she didn't want to join. She was like, roofing?
Yep. Could you blame her?
What is that? I'm like, well, I saw the opportunity. Because I always recognized Miami as a city of three industries: real estate, import export, but not that kind of import export, and construction. So I decided to go into the route of construction, and I chose roofing because I thought that everyone needed a roof, and it would be a steady income, recession proof, and the whole nine yards. And so when we launched, she was still doing her work, but it coincided that at that time the mortgage industry was also in a decline. And so I told her, hey, this business that you're in is going to go. It's going to die. It's going to go the way of the dinosaur. And yeah, it eventually did. And that's when she decided, and I twisted her arm and I said, hey, you got to come over here, and help us out. So
okay, so what's your version, Candy?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Everything is good up until the point of that you twisted my arm.
I was twisting your arm.
Well, we were on a vacation and we were pregnant with our first, and then we got a call from the bank saying, hey, your account's overdrawn. And Mario had the checkbook in the truck, and he didn't know how to, operate.
It was getting too much.
It was too much. It's not like anybody does a crash course on financials and how to run a business and how to do QuickBooks or any of that. So at that point, I'm like, you're going to need help. I took over the books. So I just started inching my way in reluctantly. But then I just saw the opportunity. Wow, I get to work from home and still raise a family. And I think that's the greatest gift that any family could have.
So just out of curiosity, so tell us about City Roofing today. Last year, you guys do both repair and re-roof. Just give everybody kind of an idea. How many employees do you have? How many jobs did you complete last year?
So you want to go out? I mean, we have 25 employees. We did about 120 re-roof jobs, was it? A little less than that?
It was a little
close.
107.
Close.
Yeah, between 110 and 120. We did a lot more repairs than that.
We did like 320 repair jobs.
Wow.
And we did 3.5 in sales and 3.25 in revenue.
What?
Cool. Good.
Production.
Production.
Install.
That's great. That's awesome. What are the different roles? What does Mario do, and what does Candy do?
Well, I do the sales managing, and now I'm getting into the HR aspect of it as well. And that's pretty much it. And then obviously for technical support, for permitting and roofing questions, I'm the guy, but Candy she runs the office. She oversees the accounting and marketing.
Yeah. Mario's more of the visionary too. He kind of says, in 2 years and 3 years, this is where we need to be. It's very difficult for me to see in terms of in years. I see just in the immediate, like what needs to be taken care of today, the end of the week. It's even hard for me to see into next month. So for me, it's just, okay, give me what's most important right now so we can execute, because that's just my mojo. It's like, okay, let's just get it done. It's accomplished. But he kind of has to expand and tell me, okay, we're going to just take it by 5 years, 3 years. And then once I have a clear picture and he tells me where I can relate to that, then I feel comfortable. The whole time it's like he's trying to sell me on the idea. So it becomes a little difficult.
Well, we talk a lot about EOS, the entrepreneurial operating system, and what you guys both just described is the visionary and the integrator. Like, you are the right integrator, just like with us, although Addie is also now becoming the visionary. You guys just described visionary integrator, and that's what I think makes really good partnerships is when you have one and the other.
Yeah, I would agree. What would you guys say was one of the most challenging times for you in the business together?
As far as what? Like, there's so many challenges. I mean,
Yeah, is there something?
I could say the when we hit rock bottom, like the rock bottom was when we had started a few years after we started.
2009.
3 years, in 2009 when we started in 05, 06, and the recession was in full swing. We lost our house. I mean, we were barely making ends meet. You know, it was a pretty tough time, but we hung in there. There were times that we were gonna call it quits and say, hey, I'd rather go get a real paying job than just doing this crap, right? But we stuck in there, and we pushed through it one day at a time. And it wasn't until maybe 2012 when things completely, started going and uptaking, and it hasn't really stopped since.
Yeah. And having that financial burden, I know, can add so much stress to a relationship. When you came out on the other side, what were some of your takeaways from that experience?
That we can get through anything.
Yeah.
That was the worst, and the rest is pie.
Love it.
And we had 3 kids at the time too, when we were going through all that. So, we could have said, hey, at that time, I think this is enough, right? 3 is enough. Like, that's it, right? We're like, nah, let's push it. What the heck?
Yeah, let's keep going.
That was the hard part.
That was 14 children ago.
But one thing that we always did, even if it was good times or bad times, we always did our date night. We always did our little getaways. And I feel like that refreshed us, even though, the thing is going down, right? The planet is going up, but we had our good times no matter what. So we always went back to that.
Very true. Very true. Always spent time with each other. We dedicated one day a week to go have date night. We would always take our vacations together with the kids. And we always hung in there, and we even though things around us were going crazy, we still kept the family intact, and we still had a great time together, and we were able to separate, work and family. It was 2 different things.
It's hard. You kind of have to make a bubble, right? You're just going to go in that bubble for that moment, no matter how chaotic it is outside. But that space is sacred, and it's important, and you have to do it to keep thriving, right?
Yeah. That's something we did along the way too.
Yeah. We struggled with it.
Yeah.
Especially somebody.
What, the going away?
Oh no, the bubble. And when you went into the bubble, but then you were supposed to come out of the bubble, right? And at home, you were supposed to be husband and wife, and at the business, you were supposed to be business partners. Is that what you meant by the bubble? That's how I took it.
Well,
we do that a lot.
Well, no, there were many times where we would bring, work home, and, from the moment we got in the door till the time we got to bed, and we were talking about this work thing, and then we'd catch ourselves doing it, and then we'd be like, wait a second, this isn't good.
Yeah.
We gotta cut it, and that did we did slide into that world for a bit, but it ended up making our relationship more rough. It was bumpier because of that. So we had to quick, learn and say, well, hey, we can't do this. And then over time, it just became more natural.
So now we're just like 2 different people, right? You're your work person.
It's like,
and then you're your relationship person.
Right.
And then you have to kind of know when to move into that role and when you shouldn't say something and when it's the right time. I'm not going to talk about work on the weekend. I just know it's not worth it. And at night, I'm not going to talk about work either. It can wait.
Yeah. That's great that you caught on to that. I
Yeah.
still struggle with that.
She struggles with it a lot more than I do. When I leave,
I do too.
Yeah.
yeah, because for years I could never turn it off.
Yeah.
I just could not turn it off. Now, I can turn it off.
Want to turn it off.
Yeah.
Like you
But
want to
I
turn it
find
You
off.
have
myself
to.
talking.
Yeah.
I talk to myself like I'm gonna say it. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Like I have to hold my tongue
Yeah.
and say I'm not gonna say it. And if I get through Monday without like the whole weekend without saying it, I'm like I did it.
You
Yeah.
did
You
it.
know, because I've been holding this in.
Yeah. But something you don't know is that I do keep, if it's something negative, I do keep that outside of work hours. If it's something positive, inspirational, then I will share that with you.
Absolutely.
I think it's exciting, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've noticed that, but I have been
Well, you've
learning.
gotten better.
Yeah, I've learned to kind of like, I don't want to go that place when we're having a good time and trying to relax.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but our kids used to also be like, hey, you're doing it again. You're talking about work.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they would bring us back to the moment. So there,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do it. They
They do a good job.
They do.
Yeah.
Mom, Dad, you're doing it again.
You're fighting again about work.
So I guess, so on the other side of that, what is one of the greatest successes that you've enjoyed in business together?
I guess that we were able to raise a family, learn from our mistakes, and all the while just growing together, both through the good and the bad, and being here to bear witness to it. I don't know how other couples or other marriages do it if they end up going the extreme route of even getting a divorce, right? Because that can happen. I was always, but to shed a little bit of background on it, I saw my parents do it for so many years. They worked together. They were owners of a business. I didn't know any other way. To me, that's what I saw. I didn't see both of my parents work a 9 to 5, right? So, but the successes are, that they ended up getting a divorce,
Mm.
Yeah.
So, to be here, 17 years later, and that we're more in love with each other more than ever. And my goodness, I mean, that is the ultimate success to me.
That's incredible, you guys.
Wow, that's so
That's
beautiful, Mario.
Beautiful. Aw,
Aw.
honey.
Brownie points.
The bedroom's right here, guys.
So how do you guys stay on the same page so that you're not getting conflicting information to your team?
This is a big one. So I try to avoid paths with him during the week because I don't want to interrupt his flow and I don't want him to interrupt my flow. But we do have a day that we discuss, like what are you working on, what I'm working on, and there's just things that he doesn't need me to share with him. He's just very to the point. I want to know A, B, C, D. So I just don't want to bombard him with extra. So for the most part, the team comes to me first. So we kind of have like a gatekeeper, if you will, before it goes to him, because I don't want to shut him down on what he's doing. So I don't know if that helps anybody.
We
but
stay out of each other's way, in other words.
yeah,
That's
we only
important.
get to come together like if it's something that's set, like that set appointment, that set date, that we're planning stuff, that we're sharing information.
Let's stop here and take a quick break. Now more than ever, you need a steady stream of profitable leads that are going to close easily and quickly with as little hassle as possible. Repeat and referral leads are the absolute best way to do that. But how do you go about generating more of these profitable leads systematically? At G4 Marketing Group, we have the whole process down to a science, and we have it all written out for you in the Referral Success Blueprint. We're making this blueprint free to you as a listener of the Wealthy Contractor Podcast, so you can start generating more profitable leads for your business today. Just go to www.g4marketing.com/blueprint. That's G fourmarketing.com/blueprint and download your referral success blueprint for free. Now let's get back to this episode. But you guys are also very aligned with the vision of the business. Like, you've gotten very clear about, this is how much money we want to make
Now.
So this is how much we want to make. So in order for us to make this, here's what the business needs to look like in order for us to get there. And you guys have done a lot of work in that area. Has that helped a lot?
Definitely.
No.
Definitely. Because I want to say a couple of years ago, I thought this was important. He thought the other. So we're just scrambling, throwing ideas, and there's no direction or what we're going to do first, or we're not working on anything together. So it's just exhausting, right? Yeah. And you're running around in circles and nothing is getting done. But I think this year has been such a defining moment because there is so much clarity. We know where we need to go, and we've seen things happen to get us there.
I mean, we're getting older, and I hope that as I'm getting older, I get wiser.
Me too.
You know?
Yeah, me too.
I was telling her the other day, I was like, wait, can you believe, when I was 30, the things that I was thinking, I no longer, I can't even see myself like doing that now. And that was only 10 years ago. And 10 years ago was like nothing. And in 10 years, like, my whole way of thinking is completely changed. Even like 3 years ago.
Just wait until you're 52.
Yeah, right.
And look, you guys experienced losing everything and losing the house. And what's kind of cool is when you mentioned one of your biggest successes, you didn't talk about the new house or the house that you have, the property that you have, the business that you have. What you said was your greatest success is that you made it through. And I consider that the same thing with us. I mean, it's good to have a place to live and food to eat, but being together is really the real prize. Yeah. I think
overcoming the challenges. Absolutely.
Yeah, the material stuff is secondary, Yeah.
And it has a way of bringing you closer, like you said. We can get through anything, and once you have that experience, that whatever life throws your way, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's like we were, for a long time, we would go in different directions, and she had her jobs to do, I had my stuff to do, but we were never, really aligned. And I think over the last 3 or 4 years, we've gotten super aligned. And, I say it all the time, clarity is power. The more clear you are about your vision, about where you're going and what that looks like, the more power there is behind it to actually like bring it about. So what advice would you give? Because we have a lot of clients that are husband and wife teams, and we could do this. And by the way, for those of you that are out there listening, if you want to hear more episodes like this, let us know, because we have other couples, client teams that have been doing it for years and years and years, and have made it work. And so we'd be happy to come on and do more of this. But what advice would you give to other couples that are out there that maybe aren't in as good a place, that might be struggling a little bit, or maybe a little frustrated with each other or with the business? What advice would you give to them?
I'll let you answer that one first. I got to think about that one.
I think you have to choose, the time that you're going to talk to them. Don't do it when you're emotional. You're going to say things that you regret, and also we tend to be so hard on each other, right? And it's a good idea to just write down everything that you've accomplished already. Like, just reflecting back on the things that you guys have accomplished together is huge, and it actually energizes you to move forward. So it's not all doom and gloom, you guys have gone through a lot and you're going to survive. But I think that encourages everybody.
What beautiful advice. Yeah. Being grateful, right? Writing down, look at what we've accomplished together and being grateful for it.
Yeah.
You have anything to add to that from the
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you one of the many things because there's so much advice, but I would say one of the most important ones is don't forget that you're married and that you have to feed that marriage, nurture it. You know, it's not a business relationship as much as a marriage, and that was the your first. Yes, should be your first priority is go on your date nights, spend time together, get to know each other more, because I know about you, but I find something new about her every day. You know? Every day I'm learning something new about her, right? Doesn't it happen? Like, man, what did you do? What? You know? And that makes me want to fall in love with her more and more. And I think that bond of love is unbreakable. Yeah. And then you got to work on it.
Yeah.
You know, just like you work on your business, you got to put just as much effort into the marriage that you do into the business, or else one or the other is going to go down, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Better the business goes, right?
Better the business goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you two are the best. They're so cute. You know, this year at Accelerate, they were right in the front row. And we had to, with the live audience, we had to social distance everybody. So Candy was at one table, Mario was at another table. They were next to each other, but they were 6 feet apart. And after the first break, Addie had said, well, look, if you're, want to move your chairs, do it after the first break. And of course, what did they do? Candy and Mario came together and they were sitting right next to each other the whole time. And
Can't live without me.
Oh man, she's hot. She's a hot mama.
She is.
You know,
you guys are the Barbie and Ken of the industry.
She's a MILF, man. You know.
For those of you watching this on YouTube, you know why we're laughing. Well, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for
having us. Thank you that we're able to share this with you guys, and thank you for having us here.
All right.
Happy Valentine's.
Yes, happy Valentine's.
All right, everybody. So welcome back. We have another couple joining us for our special Valentine's Day podcast episode. And with us, we have Ronnie and Stephanie Suarez from Integrity Roofing in Austin, Texas, right? San Antonio. I always get that wrong.
That's
Texas.
That's what the conference was that we were talking about.
Oh, that's right. San Antonio against the Riverwalk. Yeah. Awesome. So welcome you two. Longtime clients, longtime friends of G4. So let's start off. Tell everybody the story of Integrity Roofing and how you guys got into business together. We want to hear each version of the story. So one of you goes first, and then we want to hear the other side of the story.
Okay. Well, 15 years ago, I decided that, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be a business owner. I had worked for, not too many people. I really hadn't had that many jobs, but I had been working since I was 16. And so I learned a lot from a lot of great people. And then, I learned a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. So, I wanted to be a successful person. I wanted to have a successful life. And so I decided that was what I needed to do. So I started my business. It was very, meager beginnings, but, I was able to get it going. And I asked my dad, I said, hey, help me out. He owned his own roofing company for 23 years. So I said, come out of retirement, help me get this thing going. Let's build a strong foundation. Let's get this thing off the road. And we did, and we just started to grow, and it was great. It was everything that it was cracked up to be in my mind. But then we ran across a lot of challenges, like every business owner does. We had challenge after challenge, and that was about 2 or 3 years into the business. And I met Stephanie, and we let me tell you, when she walked into the room that day, it was like
the angels were singing.
Hit me.
The world stopped.
Yes. It was instant. Let me tell you, it was instant. I saw her across the room, and I was with friends, and she was there for a leadership conference. And because Stephanie comes from the public sector, I had worked in the private sector my entire life. So I was with friends and we were, at a restaurant, and I saw her across the way. And I mean, I said, "Who is that girl?" Introduced me to her, and I was pushing and pushing and pushing. My friends, you know her, bring her over here. And so eventually we met, and we just hit it off from the very beginning. And hey, that's the end of the story there. As far as when the love started, immediately, we just had such a great time together from then on.
How many years have you guys been together?
Well, that day was March 5th, 2008.
Wow.
The day after his birthday. So I was a belated present, I guess.
Birthday present.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be 13 years since that date.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
And
then wait. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, and the company's 15 years old. So goes to show you the journey we've been on together. But that was before I joined. Yeah.
So wait, so did you guys meet and then it happened really fast? And then you said, "Oh, by the way, why don't you come and work with me
No.
in a roofing company?"
No.
So tell us your version.
It was more progressive than that.
It was more progressive. Okay. So why don't you give us your version of how you guys got into business together?
Well, my background is in public relations, government. So I did a lot of community engagement. I started my career working for an elected official, doing neighborhood meetings and just kind of, helping people with code compliance and utility bills, resolution. And then I went to go work for the local water utility, doing governmental relations and community engagement and what we did in schools. And so we were both kind of hitting our own stride when we met, and we were kind of committed to that. I had my own thing, he had his own thing, and really loved it. And the company just started growing, and it's kind of when you're both working so much, you're almost passing ships. And, you have to think about, is that the kind of quality of life you want, especially when you start having a family? So when we had our first son, he was about 1, things really started to change, and he would start having these conversations with me.
Yeah. So we were at the point in the company where we're, from an executive high level perspective, I needed some help, and I loved being with her. And really, let me just say, the whole reason why she was with me in Integrity Roofing, I just want to spend more time with her. I mean, I just want to be with her. No, but seriously, I saw the qualities in her that were missing in me, because we make up for each other. There are things that I'm strong in that maybe she has areas of that area to grow in. Areas where she's very strong in, where I'm very weak in, so we complement each other, and we work and feed off of each other. And I think we make a great team together. And I could see that early on. She would walk into a room and light it up. I mean, she would light up the whole room. People would be attracted to her. Really, people would be attracted to her. And I saw that, and I saw the passion that she had to work and just to create and to grow. So I knew that it was destiny that she would be part of the team, be part of our company. Cool. And she finally decided that she would.
But I was terrified. I didn't want to.
She was scared. Yeah.
I don't want to. It's terrifying, to think about becoming an entrepreneur, and every dollar you have to make on your own. And I was used to, steady paycheck and benefits, and it was just all kind of automatic. And even if you worked somewhere and there was an issue or there was a problem, I mean, you still kind of got your paycheck,
Right.
It was just terrifying. Even though I had studied economics and had a degree in it, it just was terrifying. And so it really took a lot of convincing, and really Ronnie's encouraging to me that we can do this, you can do this, like, let's do it. And I said, okay, I'm jumping in.
What are your roles in the business today? Well, first of all, give us an idea of the business today. How many people do you have? How many jobs did you complete last year? You're a roofing company, obviously.
We're a roofing company, but we just diversified years back, and we do siding. So now we're integrity and siding. So we do a lot of roofing jobs. We do a lot of siding jobs. We even do carpentry work for mostly exterior. We can just about do everything on the outside of the house. And so we do. So we did about 400 jobs. You said a lot of jobs, from where we started.
You're right.
And so, we've grown a lot from the very beginning. So
and the staff, how big is the staff?
We probably have about 15 total employees, people that are, in our close network
Plus subs.
team, plus all the subs.
Yeah.
Yes. Carpentry subs and roofing subs, etc.
And so what are the roles? What does Stephanie do? What is Stephanie in charge of? What are you in charge of?
Well, I think it's kind of like the evolution of us. And really, Ronnie from the beginning was always the president CEO. And I think his evolution was based on leadership and, what you had to do. And mine really has evolved from the very beginning. I think when you join a business, your entrance is really critical, how you handle that, especially because I was already joining something that was created. There were other people there. So I really couldn't just come in and say, hey, I'm here and this is what I got to do. So I really started with answering the phones, learning how to schedule, learning how to qualify a lead, learning the different services. And as Ronnie mentioned, we evolved. It started with shingle. We do tile, metal, shingle, flat roof now. We do gutters, carpentry, siding. So you have to learn. And so I started in scheduling, then I started in production and learning how to budget and write invoices. But now I'm focused on really the human element of it all, the human element with our employees, the human element with our customers. And really, y'all really help me learning how to improve that customer experience because it's constantly evolving, And so I really like to think of myself as more of the internal and external brand, ambassador and just the feeling of the experience. So we're from San Antonio and really like a lot of times when you think about competitive advantage, sometimes you say, oh, go local. But what it started to occur to me was that local just means more, hey, we're from here, we're licensed, we're committed to the community. Local means it's not just somewhat that, we're here, we're not just popped in because there was a recent storm, we're here, but we also give back to our community. So we feel like it is such an amazing opportunity that with growth, we're able to represent our customers by whether it's the local nonprofits like the food bank, the university hospital, the healthcare workers right now working so much. So we go drop off lunches to them with a little note saying, hang in there. You don't know us, but we're cheering for you.
Oh, nice.
And just other things like that, some of the schools we went to, and we just think that's really important for us, not necessarily of like, what could people say about it, but it's just really important for us. We just kind of feel like, sometimes when you're struggling so much to build your business, you are selfish. Like you have to, at all costs, like you have to keep it going. But I think when you really feel like you're arriving to a good place is when you should reach out more and give back. So that's really what Integrity Cares SA is about.
That's awesome.
Love it. And how long has it been since you've been working together?
It's been almost 10 years that we've been working together.
Oh, okay. So you came in along, a while back.
I think my interest, like naturally in the company, just always started as a couple. You're talking about various things, but I want to say like in a full-time capacity, like 7 years, because also with the little ones, but I really feel I've arrived in really being a partner of the business. So that's exciting because you really have to want it and believe it in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you guys share, one of you or both of you share with us, what was one of the most challenging times in the business together?
I think that the most challenging time, well, right now is a very challenging time, obviously with the pandemic and everything that's going on, the limitations. We've grown a lot from that though, because we've discovered a lot of technology that we always wanted to implement. We always wanted to put this in our business, but we just never took that action, and so this forced us to do so. But that aside, I think that the main thing that we were challenged by all along was running our business from the inside out. Like we were so deep in the weeds. We were there very, very, every step, every operational task, decision. I mean, we were really deep in it and we couldn't see the forest through the trees. We needed to allow our business to run without us at times. We're always watching our business. We're always working 24/7, but we have great people and we have a great system so people can work and continue, with the business working like, shall I say, the well-oiled machine. It's not always that perfect, but the point is that was our struggle for a long time, and I think we overcame that.
And I think with that being said, is sometimes you're so wanting to be in control, you don't allow other people to grow. or, and you just want everything to go right exactly every time. Like sometimes you're kind of in the way of their growth. And so although like, I'm sure everybody was terrified and it's still scary about like, what are the impacts of this overall pandemic? It allowed us, whether we liked it or not, to kind of step back and think differently and have our people think differently. And they've risen to the occasion. And so now we're actually working on our business, not in our business, because that really facilitated us to allow other people to grow. But probably it was an incremental situation because you can't really let go if nothing's there to support it. So I think like the struggle was always building a foundation, and now I think, we're kind of getting there. We're arriving.
Yes.
Incredible.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think one of the things that turned us around really, and it's funny because we were driving to our daughter's volleyball tournament, and we were in the vehicle a long time with each other. And I said, hey, we need to listen to this book together. We had this Audible, and I said, it's Michael Gerber, E-Myth. And I had been listening to it, and I really, really wanted her to listen to it with me. And so I did. And he really talks about the systematic approach and the business running without you, and we really, really took that in. We did all these little tasks. He had us do all these little, things in the bit. So we would learn, where were we really with our business? Like, what are the different facets of our company, and what are the different levels of the company? And so it really made us think. And that was kind of a turning point for us, really, really taking that in and putting it into action.
And how long ago was that?
That was about 4 or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years.
Has it? And I think that's the thing. It doesn't happen overnight because growth is a lot of looking at yourself and really looking in the mirror and saying,
and telling the truth, right?
My dad taught me that. He said, if you can't look in the mirror and like what you see, or, you're lying to yourself, and that's the worst thing you can do. And so we've had that work together, and we still do it every day. We're like, wow, could we have handled that differently? Or maybe we could have done this, but I think we're open to it, and you have to be open to working on yourself.
Absolutely.
I always say it. I think that the skill set part of the business can be bought. It could be rented. You can get it from other places. What you can't get is the mindset. What you can't get is who you are being as in that process, and who you are being is going to limit your growth, and whether that's in profitability and time freedom, building a business that works for you instead of you working for it. So I'm glad you said that, because it really is. It's really more about working on yourself, because the other stuff is pretty formulaic.
I really how you opened your session the other day. It was just like, for me, because really it's about, and I think as a couple, are you both 100% committed? Like, can you commit to the same plan? Can you commit to the same vision? Can you follow through? Because, yes, at times life happens and maybe one person has to handle more than the other. But at the end of the day, if you're doing this as a couple, like, you both have to have the same commitment, or it's not going to work,
That's right.
Do you guys sit down and talk about money? Like, hey, this is how much money we want to make. This is why we want to make it. This is how we're going to spend it. This is how we're going to invest it, how we're going to give it.
Yes.
All the time.
We're in constant communication. That's the thing. I mean, there's kids, and there's school, and there's all these other things around us, obviously other important things in our life too. But we talk a lot. I mean, we communicate a lot about these things. We bounce a lot of stuff off each other, and we make sure we're on the same page with stuff.
I kind of laugh sometimes because I think people probably think they're, like, really, y'all are always together. Yeah. And, but the funny thing is that we can even be working like at home when everyone's working remote, or, at the building. But yes, we have that time together, but we have our own thing too. Like, so I feel like I'm accomplishing also something that identifies me, and he does that too. But yeah, we're always talking about like, what's
Is that a bad thing though? Always spending time together? Because her and I, we at this point, it's like, it just is what it is, but we're like, we're always together.
Going by the hip.
We're
Yeah,
always
no,
together.
that's us too. And the funny thing is that even though we're always together, I make it a point for us to just also have our own time. Like, are we gonna order some sushi and wine and just like not even like, let's take a break? I mean, so even though we're together all the time, we still have to work on us as a couple. And that's probably, I think, like the biggest thing too, is
that's
that
where it starts.
you have to be a couple. Like you
Yes.
have to have a foundation as a relationship, as a couple, in order to even think about working together.
It's the only way it's going to work. I mean, so we just we're talking with Candy and Mario, who are going to be on this with you guys, and they said the exact same things. I mean, you have to. I think they said you have to put the marriage and the relationship before the business, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's just like anything personally that will test your foundation as a couple, as a marriage, as a family, will do in business too. Like that will happen in business too. And so you have to know, how you have each other's back, how you conflict resolution, how you appear on the same page, even if like someone's presenting something to you and you're like, that's not what I thought we talked about. It's like poker face. Let me just take a couple steps back and talk to him and we'll get it on there.
So that's a good segue to the next question, which is, how do you stay on the same page so that you make sure that you're not giving conflicting direction to your team?
Yeah, it's back to the communication. We talk about what we have the same vision, really. That's the thing. I mean, we've spent so much time together. That's our advantage. We spent so much time together, just like you guys, that we know each other so well. We know what our vision is, and we share the same vision. And so I think when things come up where maybe she creates something on her own that we haven't talked about, which could happen, I'm all for it. I'm with it, because she has the same vision. We have the same ethics. We have the same integrity. It's so because of that, it all falls into place for us. Now I will say it's challenging still. I mean, we have our challenges.
We have spirited conversations
every day.
Spirited conversations.
I mean, we're not going to sugarcoat it at all. I mean, there are times where I'm like, I'm going to pause this. I'm going to go for a little walk around the house or the office and I'll be back. But I think it's grounded in that respect for each other. Like, I mean, and it's just how we work daily. Like, even if like you're washing dishes and, you put something right where I was, it's like, okay, so first of all, but I mean, I just think it's also, knowing also your roles. Because, for example, like I wouldn't venture off into something in a sales presentation or like the application of some sort of material. So we kind of know each other's, areas. And I think we really value each other's opinion. So if for some reason something did get presented to you that was a different thought, there may be a reason. I'm not going to just undermine it and just because it's got to be my way. And I think that's the other thing too, is that you got to know when to give in. Like you have to know when maybe that person needs you more that day than you. Like maybe they are having a bad day, like get over your stuff. They need you. Or, I think it's just, you just got to be in it to win it together.
That's great. That was beautifully said. And, also, what can you share with the audience some of the things you do to help keep the business from interfering with the personal life too, with the kids maybe?
That's a tough one because the business is 24/7. Like, as you guys know, whether it's your email or your phone with text messages or phone calls or just what's going on up here, you're constantly thinking about it. It's almost like an obsession, if you will. And so we share that, but at the same time, we know we talk about how we can cut it off at some point because we have a personal life, we have children we're raising, we have a household. So we're able to just shut it off sometimes. We have to. I think like when I finally realized, and even though I knew this going in, it's not 8 to 5. So you structure your 24 hours how you want to. So for example, in the morning, we got to get our kids ready, get them going with school, and then we work. And then we know now when they are done, we're going to focus on them and we're going to how was your day? How's it going? And then when we put them to bed, we go back to work sometimes. So, that's also the freedom of, I'm not going to do this at this moment. I'm going to do it later. But yeah, it's a struggle. I mean, it's
it's a real struggle sometimes, but especially like you can even have a restaurant experience and they follow up a certain way and you're like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. Oh yeah, we should, you know, like, so you see ideas and creativity everywhere and you always want your business to grow and evolve. So, but I think also when you love what you do, really, you know, it's, you just make it
It
work.
becomes easier when you have a passion for
But
what you do and you know, want to succeed.
But sometimes I have to tell my kids, like, I'm sorry, I can't keep on playing this game with you right now. You've got to go to bed and I have to work, you know, so they.
I have to work so you can eat tomorrow.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh no, I'm the mom of guilt. I am the mom of guilt. Believe me, I'm really bad. They're going to look back and be like, oh, my mom, man, she was.
You like having a comfortable bed to sleep in? You like having a roof over your head?
I'm really bad. I'm really bad at that.
But what's really interesting in listening to you is just the transformation from this hesitant person, right? And wanting to step into entrepreneurship to now it's like, oh my God, I see ideas everywhere. That's a good one.
Yes.
How do we incorporate it? And it's just not
So
Oh no.
Well, and I think that's why we kind of like say we go beast mode, you know, it's like, you know, let's do this.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's just, I think when you really, it's hard, again, it's work, but I think like when you finally get to a point where you're working on the creativity of your business, that's the fun part. And like, you don't want to lose that. So you got to make sure everything keeps on working. And it doesn't mean that you forget like how the business is working. You just have checks and balances and make sure everything's okay. Because I think we're finally entering like the really fun part. Still scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're still like, but I think we're entering the fun part.
What is the fun part?
Well, it's just like,
you know, having a little more freedom to spend time together, to go enjoy some of our, you know, the fruits of our labor, some of the investments that we've made. You know, we have a ranch now, so we're going and we're spending time there, and sometimes we're still working when we're there, but you know, we get to do, you know, some things.
Okay, so wait, a ranch. Tell us about this. What's a ranch? I live in Miami.
Okay.
That's right. Hello.
So we bought a large piece of property out in the rural area that, you know, we have wildlife on it, and it's up on a hill. It's got a beautiful view, mountains and all that stuff. And so it's a way. I told her, I said, I think this property, I think this saved my life.
It did. It
because
really did.
I can get pretty stressed out. You know, the business is, it's an animal. So being able to go out there and just have the fresh air, have the view, it's life-changing. So
well,
that's
just to put it this way, the town only has 200 people.
Nice.
Wow. How far is that from home?
The town, it's not even incorporated. It's just like a block, and there are no street lights. There's like one cafe, one general store. But you know, we're discovering the land, and we go on hikes and teaching our kids just stuff out, the great outdoors, really.
And how far away is it from home?
It's about an hour and a half tops.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's easy.
Hey, if I'm on that road going 80, we can get there an hour and 10.
Oh, we gotta make a trip out to San Antonio. We gotta check out that ranch.
I would love for you all, and I was gonna say y'all. I was like thinking about it. I was like, I'm gonna be saying y'all.
Y'all, we know what y'all. I know y'all.
I love y'all.
I know y'all.
Bring it on.
Yeah, but you know, it's just, but the bottom line is it's having a shared vision and just knowing you do have to work. Like sometimes you don't want to work, but you sometimes have to get it done, because that's like the other thing. Our parents are really strong people, both the men and women, and you know, they've taught us a lot of little nuggets in life, and sometimes they don't register till, you know, you carry on in life. And one of the things that my dad taught me is that you have to be disciplined. You know, like earlier in your opening session, there's so many things you were talking about, and it was like ding, 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 ding. It was like going off in my head, and it's the plan. It's having that plan and sticking with it. Another great thing someone once told me, I remember one time I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And I was going on and on. And they said, well, did you write that plan in pencil? Because you might have to erase some things. And so I think we're just trying to grow together too. And I think if you both want to grow and you both want to be humble and know that sometimes you got to check yourself and reevaluate what you're thinking, I think it's going to be okay. It'll work.
Cool. What do you see as your, what's your biggest opportunity over the next year?
With the business, probably growing in maybe commercial roofing. We do a lot of residential roofing. We do a lot of residential siding, that kind of thing. But probably commercial roofing would be something we can grow in, or working with the government or something like that. Big contracts.
And I think one of the things I really want to do, it's kind of been a dream of mine, and the last 18 months kind of changed a lot of things, but I'm not giving up on it. I really want to reach out more to the woman homeowner, and really just kind of, connect in that fashion. And so I'm part of a couple of different networks in town, and I really just want to explore that and, just have that conversation with them and, be a resource for them.
So I have some ideas.
Okay.
That's beautiful, because she wants to do the same thing in the industry.
Okay.
She wants to bring out the use in the industry, because a lot of times the women are behind the scenes.
Yeah.
For sure.
The men are out front. The men get all the credit, but it's really the women behind the scenes, the wives, the partner, that's actually like making stuff happen. Like if she wasn't here, who knows? I mean, I wouldn't be doing a tenth of the stuff that I do.
Well, and I really do think in regards to like the personal customer experience, sometimes we inherit just knowledge based on the assumptions that we've had for a very long time, and the market's changing, and and there are more, even not even just couples, but young women on their own, younger women who own homes, and they think it could be a little scary trying to find a contractor. And so I just kind of want to get the information out there. And I like to say, I'm bringing the pink to roofing and siding.
Love it.
Well, if we can help you do that in any way, you let us know. We're happy to help.
Actually, you and I are going to have a conversation when we get back.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right. Well, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you guys doing this, and we appreciate the years and years of friendship. And if we can do anything, let us know. And for everybody listening again, if you liked what we did here and you want to hear more from couples and partners in the business, if you want to hear more from my business partner, from Addie, let me know. Send me an email. However, communicate with me. Let me know, and we would love to do more of this. So this is Brian Kaskavalsian
and Addie Kaskavalsian,
and this is the Wealthy Contractor Podcast. And until next time, thank you all. All right, so we're back. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Candy and Mario, they're awesome. Ronnie and Stephanie, I mean, just really, really great people. And look, we've got probably, I don't know, 10 other couples that we can go to and have, really great conversations with.
Yeah.
But Addie tells me that we're going to answer some of the same questions.
Yeah, we get asked, and our marketing team wanted us to share it too. Kind of like our journey in entrepreneurship and husband and wife team and raising a family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't care about me and Addie, you can just turn off now and go to the next episode if you want. I guess are we answering some of the same questions? Like what are our roles?
Well, our roles were visionary, or you were sales and marketing and I was GSD.
Yes.
In the beginning.
GSD.
They've evolved a lot over the years. When we just started, it was just him and I, and Brian was out selling, marketing the business. And I was, client support and doing everything that needed to be done on the back end to make sure we fulfilled on all our promises. And so that's changed over the years,
Yeah, that's changed a lot. Well, when we implemented EOS 3 years ago, and EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, you guys have heard me talk about it before. It changed everything for us. We started it, 3 years ago? We're 3 years in.
We started, this is our 4th year using that system. And I think that's where it really became very, very clear.
Yeah.
I think we did a good job from 2009, 2017 to really grow the business and build the foundation of the business. It took us a little while, honestly. We were a little slow there to take off.
But we were able to develop a really loyal client base, not because they liked us, but because we actually delivered on the promises that we made.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then when EOS came in and we discovered this whole new operating system, it was, and by the way, it wasn't me that found it. It was her that found it, and was paying attention and was listening to Caesar when he was talking about EOS and what it did for his company. And he was so,
well, it wasn't even his own company. It was like it was the buzz at EO, all of the the entrepreneur group. But listen, I was terrible at implementing it initially because I started to read the book. It's based on a book called Traction by Gino Wickman. And it's kind of a dense read.
It is.
And
I've never read it.
Yeah, I never got through it. So when Caesar came to us and said, "Oh yeah, I implement it," we were like, "Oh thank goodness."
She was like, "Okay, we're but." She made the executive decision and said, "All right, we're in."
Where do we sign?
But that's where we learned about the visionary and the visionary's role and the integrator's role. And for those of you that aren't as familiar, the visionary is basically the entrepreneur, the one that's got the big ideas, the one that hates details.
He or she charts where the company is going.
Yeah.
And the integrator,
they're the one with the vision.
Right. And the integrator is the how. How do we go where you want to go?
Yeah.
Right. But I think what's unique to us too is that I've always had a little bit of the visionary too, pushing us.
Which is rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's rare to find somebody that's got both, and you have both. I don't, because the integrator stuff, I mean, I hate it.
Yeah.
It's all details, keeping things on track, keeping things documented and process. I forced myself to do it.
Yeah.
In years past, but
where you naturally go to.
Absolutely. And what's fortunate for us and for some of the other couples that we know of is that it's really clear. There's one visionary and there's one that's an integrator. Those make really good partnerships. And we're lucky that we've got that visionary integrator thing. Because if we were both integrators, it just wouldn't work.
We would get in each other's way.
Yeah.
But let me step back a little bit and just say that when we were introduced to EOS, it became very, very clear about whose role, right? Who was doing what. And essentially, it gave us the clarity to say, just get out of my way. I love you, but just get out of my way. Let me do my thing, and vice versa, right? Like don't overstep right now. This is my role. This is what I do.
What's interesting too is I see this with a lot of partnerships, whether it's husband and wife or just regular partnerships. I think there is sometimes an issue of, can I really trust that this is going to happen? Can I really trust that this is going to happen? It's not that I don't trust the person. It's just, I'm just not sure if I can trust that, hey, that decision that you made I don't agree. I just don't necessarily think that that's going to work. And one of the things you have to admit over the last 3 years that's happened is more and more, I just trust you to make the right decisions. Whereas before there was a little bit of conflict there.
Sure. Tension. Absolutely. But we've both evolved in our roles and it's been great, but it wasn't always easy. When we started the business, we did it together because we had just reached rock bottom. We had lost everything. And Brian came to me one morning and said, I have an idea. And when he gave me, as the visionary, right? When he shared with me the idea, the vision of a company that helps other home improvement companies excel at relationship marketing, I really love that, because in the previous business that we had worked in together, in that business, I wasn't really an owner. I just came in and helped with, I guess I did payroll and marketing, and eventually I started managing it. But I loved it so much because that's what I did for that company. I used to assemble little gifts and knock on our clients' doors and walk through the project and make sure they were happy. And I'm a people person. So for me, that was amazing. It gave me the chance to connect with others and also, to see about future business and ask for referrals and all that. So it really made sense to me when he approached me with that idea. And I'm like, I'm all in. I love it. And in the beginning,
we had no choice.
We had no choice.
We had to make something work.
We had to make something
We had to eat.
work. Yes.
We had to eat.
And
So I guess that was what we had been married, 10 years?
10 years
at that point.
Yeah.
We had worked together maybe
3
just
years.
a couple, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And then
because I was lucky enough to stay home with my girls. I really didn't start working full time till the little one was like in kindergarten, which was awesome. I got to really enjoy them. So I'm grateful to you for that, because that was amazing.
But then, but before we did G4, you just kind of stepped in and were just doing whatever needed to be done to keep the other thing, alive until some point that we figured out what we were really going to do. And so with G4, that was when you really came in and you were like, really, we were business partners. And it was like, okay, we got to work together to make this thing really work.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is unique to me or if I don't know that it is unique to me. I think it's definitely something that other couples share, but I saw in you something very how do you say it? Yeah. A very talented individual. I saw your strengths when you necessarily didn't see them. And I feel like I've always, I've always felt like, wow, there's a gold mine in that.
I'm sorry, all of you. You got to listen to this. This is the stuff I got to hear all the time. Like, I saw something in you.
I saw something in you.
When I first saw you, you were a big lump of clay.
No.
You're a big lump of clay.
Okay, no.
And if I kicked you in the ass long enough, I could create some legs under you.
That's not true.
If I kick you in the head enough, maybe I can make you smart.
Oh gosh, are you really going there?
Well,
that's not where I was going.
Okay, why don't you answer the questions?
Can I finish my thought, or are you really uncomfortable right now?
I think everybody is uncomfortable right now. How do we stay?
If everybody's uncomfortable, then I'll.
How do we stay?
Only you, I'll keep going.
How do we stay on the same page so that we're not giving conflicting direction to our teams?
Boy, you really sobered me up now.
Yep. This is my job, by the way. Welcome.
Okay,
this is a little insight into my world.
No.
Hey, look, I doubt anybody's even listening anymore. I mean, they might have just said, we don't care about Brian and Addie and their backgrounds. They might not even be listening anymore.
Should you be so lucky?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, enough. Stop it. Okay, how do you stay on the same page? Okay, well, again, it goes back to EOS. When we started EOS, it just became very clear about what our roles were. And honestly, and in full transparency, it happens still occasionally. Yeah, occasionally, but it's not a normal thing. The majority of the time, we respect each other's decisions and we move forward. And when we do, it doesn't get ugly. It's just like, hey, remember, that falls under my responsibilities. Or,
And what's funny is usually now it's not even you coming to me, it's Yanni or it's Valerie. Hey, Brian's making a mess over here. We got to shut him down.
Right.
We got to stop him. They know now. Yeah. Oh, Brian's making a mess. We got to shut him down.
Yeah.
Let him go off into his little corner and go do his thing. And we'll just go and continue running the business.
But,
all right. Well, we gotta start winding this down because this is the longest podcast we've ever done.
Oh, are we done?
Yeah. Well,
I just got started.
No, we gotta start wrapping up. Well, no, we had Candy and Mario, then we had Ronnie and Stephanie, and now there's us. So what advice? Let's wrap up with our last question. If people want more of us, they can let us know, and we can do more of this. But what advice would you give to other couples out there who may be struggling or maybe frustrated with each other and, working together in the business?
I don't know. What would you tell them?
The relationship, just same things that Candy and Mario said, is the relationship is the marriage relationship is the most important thing. And you gotta you got to separate out. I liked what Candy and Mario said, that they never lost their date night, that they always had date night. And I think that can get away from us really fast.
Right.
And it's something like it's got to be scheduled, and it's got to be a part of every week. You know, we had problems with that for a while. Like, we didn't plan date nights well. We just would go whenever we could. But
we
now,
always, a lot of times it was babysitter issues or things like that. But I don't know. I at the same time, we would always at least once a year just go away, the two of us. We've done that since Sophie was born.
Yeah.
We had to come back early the first trip. It was first time mom thing, but
not anymore.
Then we overcame that really fast.
But to me, it's, and then I think the other thing too, and one of the things that's really, because I work with Candy and Mario on a closer level. They're in our mastermind group. And so one thing that I've really seen with them over the last couple of years is how powerful clarity has been for them, really getting on the same page about how much money do we want to make? Where's that money going to go? What's that money for? With us, it's Addie's like, well, I want this. And she just goes and makes it happen. And for me, I'm a little harder. Sometimes she has to drag me kicking and screaming, but she's been right more so than she has been wrong. And so now lately I've just kind of learned to kind of back off and say, all right, well,
I guess that's where we're going.
Yeah, I guess that's where we're going. What else? What else would we say?
What advice?
What about in the business?
In the business?
Clear about your roles.
Yeah, we already said it. It's about clarity of roles and appreciating where our greatest strengths lie.
Yeah.
And kind of getting out of the way.
And respecting each other.
Absolutely. Respecting each other. You're in this together. I mean, and I was fortunate enough to see in my family a lot of entrepreneurs. My grandparents, my parents, they've worked together. So for me, that was a normal thing. I think Mario mentioned the same thing. It was like, oh yeah, husbands and wives work together all the time.
Yeah. But not all of them make it.
Yeah. And I saw what worked and I saw what didn't work. And I think I learned from both, right?
Yeah.
And that was, for me, that was an advantage, I guess, because it was when Brian came to me, I always wanted to get involved in the business. Like even when we were newly married, I always wanted to know what was going on, just to, it was interesting to me. So yeah, just be clear about each other's roles, respect each other. I think that's worked for us.
Yeah.
Honor each other's talents, and also think about how to best utilize each other's talents, right? Because what one doesn't have, the other does, and vice versa. And how do you make that work in the business? And I think we've been pretty good at that over the years. I think so. Yeah.
All right, you all. Well, this has been an interesting episode of the Wealthy Contractor Podcast. Your Valentine's Day special episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some value out of it.
I wanted to mention one last thing.
Oh boy.
Yeah. One of the things that I love most about working with my partner is when we started in this journey, it was about us creating our future together. And there's no better way to create your future than with your best friend, with your life partner. And so I love that we've been blessed with this opportunity to go create and grow together and, reach whatever level of heights of success and love and relationship that we've wanted over the years. So I think that is what I love most. It is a Valentine's Day edition, okay?
Okay.
So stop it.
Can this be considered my Valentine's Day gift to you?
But wait a minute, what have you said to me?
Same thing, ditto.
That's not good enough. I'm sorry.
Okay, this episode's going to be like 8 hours long.
I'm done. But that I just wanted to share that one last thing because
all right.
It's awesome. And I think a lot of other couples out there can relate to that idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, with that said, are you done now?
I'm done.
With that said, this is Brian Cascavalcian with Addie Cascavalcian. This is the Wealthy Contractor Podcast, brought to you by G4 Marketing Group. And until next time, thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
All right, so that's it for today's episode of the Wealthy Contractor Podcast. Let me ask you, did it help you look at your business in a new way? Did it spark an idea or ideas you hadn't thought of before? Do you have a list of action items that you can take and implement into your business or your life today? I really hope so. Now, before you go, make sure you subscribe to the Wealthy Contractor Podcast so you get access to the latest episodes as soon as they're available. We're always striving to provide you with great content, so you don't want to miss what's coming up. And a favor, I'd really appreciate it if you'd go to iTunes and post a review of this podcast. Let us know how we're doing. The Wealthy Contractor Podcast is brought to you by G4 Marketing Group, where we help contractors of all kinds create customers, keep customers, and multiply their customers and profits. If you're interested in reaching new levels of success for your company, visit www.gfourmarketing.com or just call us at 305-856-8788 to schedule your free, no obligation, Wealthy Contractor Strategy Session. Now, during this strategy session, we're going to look at 8 key performance factors in your business, and we're going to help you uncover opportunities for growth, for leads, for sales, and for profit. And finally, we started the Wealthy Contractor as a resource to help you, the home improvement entrepreneur, regardless of where you are on the wealthy scale, get where you want to go. We want to provide you with the motivation, the confidence, the resources, and the tools so you too can live the life of the wealthy contractor. Now, the Wealthy Contractor is a place where it's okay for you to want it all. In fact, it's not only okay, it's encouraged. So until next time, this is Brian Kaskavalcian with G4 Marketing.